Today, we explore how this date completely reshaped our world across five powerful dimensions: culture, education, finance, politics, and technology. This day proves that history never rests. Let's dive into the fascinating interconnected events of this date that continue to influence how we live, think, and innovate today. So, without much further ado, let's go.
Usually when you look at a calendar, it's just this uniform grid of little boxes.
Mhm.
Every day gets the exact same amount of space, right? Like a Tuesday looks exactly like a Thursday.
Right, which is comforting, but it's entirely deceptive.
Completely deceptive. Because when you layer history over that grid, suddenly one of those little boxes isn't just a normal day, it's a fault line. It carries this massive, disproportionate weight. So today we're taking a custom deep dive just for you into your sources on July 20th.
Oh, yeah. It's a date that somehow funnels, like political revolution, financial panic, and, well, our ultimate technological leap into exactly 24 hours.
And the craziest part is how the trigger on this day is often incredibly mundane.
Yeah, totally mundane. Take July 20, 1810, in Bogota. This is the literal spark of the Colombian War of Independence, but it doesn't start with, a military siege or anything. It starts with a flower vase.
Flower vase. I read that part in the notes and it sounds like a bad sitcom plot.
I know, right?
It's like local criollos. So these were people of Spanish descent, born in the Americas, who had wealth, but were just systematically shut out of political power. They deliberately asked this haughty Spanish businessman to borrow a vase for a dinner party.
Knowing full well he would refuse. I mean, they needed a public rejection to whip the crowd into a frenzy. They basically intentionally weaponized his ego to incite a riot, and it worked. It successfully forced the creation of an autonomous junta.
It's like they found a tiny hairline crack in a dam and, intentionally tapped a chisel into it. They knew exactly where the social tension was weakest. That's the ultimate straw that broke the camel's back.
Absolutely. And that idea of weaponizing a specific moment or a specific document happens again on this exact day. Jump forward to July 20, 1954, with the signing of the Geneva Accords.
Okay, I have to challenge that connection, though, because the Geneva Accords temporarily divided Vietnam at the 17th parallel. How does fracturing a country in half serve as a foundation for peace? That sounds, well, totally counterintuitive.
It does, yeah. Until you look at the mechanism of the treaty itself. The agreement actually mandated future democratic elections and civil liberties.
Yeah.
So citizens in southern Vietnam used the physical text of that July 20th agreement as a literal legal shield.
Oh, wow. So they used the paperwork.
Exactly. When they protested for unification, they weren't just rebelling. They were demanding the rights legally promised to them on paper by international powers.
Right. So July 20th is good for legal shields and political maneuvering. But looking at the financial and military data we have here, this date is also an absolute magnet for sudden, chaotic shocks.
Oh, for sure.
Look at July 20, 1933. The Dow Jones plummeted 7% in a single afternoon.
Yeah, and to understand why that happened, you have to look at the buildup. The market had just experienced this unprecedented 100% year-to-date gain. It was a classic textbook speculative bubble.
Right.
Investors were wildly over-leveraged, borrowing heavily to ride this massive wave.
So when a few big players started taking profits, that tiny dip triggered margin calls everywhere. Everyone panicked, trying to cash out at the exact same time, and the resulting bottleneck just crushed the market.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of a system collapsing under its own bloated weight,
Right.
which is deeply ironic because...
Oh, right, the 44 event.
Yeah, because exactly 11 years later, on July 20, 1944, a tyrannical system avoided collapse purely because of a piece of wood.
Operation Valkyrie. Klaus von Stauffenberg places a briefcase bomb under Hitler's briefing table to launch a coup.
Right, but someone coincidentally moves the briefcase behind a heavy wooden table leg. When it detonates, that thick oak leg absorbs the brunt of the blast. Hitler actually survives.
That is just terrifying to think about. I mean, a massive financial system collapses out of nowhere because of invisible market psychology, but a brutal dictatorship survives because of a literal piece of furniture.
It's wild.
A few inches of wood changed the entire trajectory of World War II.
It really highlights the extreme fragility of human history on this planet, which, honestly, might be why the most famous July 20th event is about escaping Earth entirely.
Apollo 11, 1969. Armstrong stepping onto the lunar surface is iconic, but diving into these sources, the actual unsung heroes are the STEM pioneers who engineered that escape.
Absolutely.
You have Margaret Hamilton, who wrote the software code for the lunar module.
Her code was revolutionary because of how it functioned under stress. Like when the module's computer overloaded during descent, her software was designed to prioritize critical steering and landing tasks over low-priority radar data. It literally prevented an abort.
And then combine that with Katherine Johnson, the mathematician, computing those incredibly precise orbital trajectories by hand. I mean, it was such a monumental human achievement that the U.S. stock market actually shut down the next day just to celebrate.
And the ripple effect is what you really need to take away from this, I think. That 1969 landing shifted space from a government-driven Cold War posturing contest into the foundation of today's modern space economy.
Meaning everything from the GPS satellites directing your phone to the current push for commercial space mining, it all stems from the technological ecosystem catalyzed on that specific day.
Yeah, it really makes you reconsider that uniform, comforting grid on your calendar.
It genuinely does. I mean, we went from a borrowed vase sparking a war of independence to a heavy table leg altering a world war, all the way to a human footprint in lunar dust, all on July 20th.
Incredible.
So we want to leave you with this to mull over. If one random day in July holds this much historical gravity, what invisible world-altering pivot might be happening on today's date that we won't fully recognize until decades from now?
Hi viewers, family and friends. How did you like the content of this video? Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Please write in the comments your name and the place you are watching from. Since our viewing family is spread all over the world, it will be nice to know which city and the country you are watching from, so I can say hello to you. Science and technology. Reading and listening to the historical accomplishments on this date of those who have gone before us, I, as a professional engineer with interest in structural engineering, energy-efficient buildings, ICF construction, and as Google Docs expert with interest in spreadsheet-based solutions, draw inspiration to ask of myself the million-dollar question. What would I accomplish today? Think about the Japanese practice of Kaizen. Let me know in the comments. What would you accomplish today? Your subscribing to the channel inspires me to post more such videos. Thanks for your patronage. See you in the next video. Sincerely, Yogi Anand.